if you saw our Instagram and our Facebook post, Twitter, and my personal LinkedIn page, if you're following any of those pages, then you probably saw what we posted earlier this week about a personal review and study of Dave Ramsey's success tips. Okay. Basically, you got the 7 baby steps of success for financial freedom for Dave Ramsey, which I'm going to read them off the screen for you here. Baby step number 1 is save $1,000 in a beginner emergency fund. Baby step number 2 is get out of debt using the debt snowball. Baby step number 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And baby step number 4, invest 15% of your income for retirement. Baby step number 5, save for your children's college. And that's number 5. That's not number 1. It's not number 2. That's not number 3. That's number 5. Because Dave Ramsey's mentality is you got to take care of yourself where you can take care of someone else. And you got to get your kids to adulthood where you can take care of them as an adult, right? Baby step number 6 is pay off your home. And baby step number 7 is build wealth and give. I'm going to touch on that real quick, but know that this is just an intro video. We're going to do probably 2 steps out of a total of 15 that we use off of it. I'll put the link below for you. The SavvyCouple.com, Dave Ramsey tips. They just published in September of 2020 15 Dave Ramsey tips and their take on things, and we're going to kind of do a spin-off of that. I have a lot of notes here. I've been doing a lot of research on it. In case you want to know why we haven't been doing a lot of video uploads lately, but I figured I would put some more value to the content that we're putting out here, and hopefully teach some people some valuable life lessons. One thing that some people may or may not know, there is a nonprofit organization in my community that my business has now become affiliated with officially. It's called Let's Act Army, the MidLife chapter. We are partnered with them in a what's called a Code Purple awareness challenge to bring awareness to the community and provide the needs for homeless people. If you look back over at Dave Ramsey's page on the baby steps, it says build wealth and give, number 7. Dave Ramsey is talking about giving, number 7, as a financial donation. One thing that I would like to go ahead and put forward right now in 2020, it's important to give what you can and to help your fellow human. And we all have to take care of ourselves first, like I said, but there are things that you can give besides money. And 2020 has been a rough year. And if you look back at all the financially wealthy people in the world, one thing that they do is they give. And yes, people are going to say, well, they give because they get a tax break. Well, surprise, surprise, you only get a tax break when you give up to within a certain percent of your income. Anything above and beyond that, they're doing for nothing other than just out of the goodwill of their heart. And you know the difference in those people. So with that being said, what our community is doing is very powerful as far as moving forward and moving the needle on the homeless network. Majority of people who, and you may hear me speak about this some, I'm a big supporter of mental health awareness, and the majority of people who end up homeless often are strugglers in that department. I can attest to myself struggling often with mental health from time to time, even without my financial backing. I would be struggling myself right now as it is, and without the support of my family. And there are people who don't have the financial know-how, and there are people who don't have the families to support them, and they simply they have mental health issues that they can't control. It's not necessarily always drugs. It's other things. The victim might be drug abuse, but that's not the cause in a lot of situations. And mental health is very serious. But one thing that I've noticed is that they're seeing another form of homelessness in 2020 start to creep up as people are getting what's called now a pre-foreclosure on their home, where they're being told that as soon as the restrictions are lifted, they have to pay a certain amount of money or they're out, and they know they can't pay. So they just go ahead and agree to do a pre-foreclosure. And once the restrictions are lifted due to COVID, then they know they're going to be out of a home. And they basically just go ahead and take the hit and quit making the payments. Some of them are trying to put their money in other places. But the long story short is a lot of these people are going to end up credit score broke and homeless because of 2020 and the situation that's put on the family. So we're going to have another type of homelessness besides just the mental health issue and the drug abuse and the other things that happen with homelessness now that we know of. We're headed into another form of that right now. So it's important to bring awareness to that. If you are someone who sees yourself heading down the path of you potentially couch surfing for a while, or living in a parent's home, living in your car, or not sure exactly where you're going to go when the pandemic's over, because the only reason you have a home is because of the mandates. I understand that. Believe me. Watch this video series. Follow along with us as we learn a little bit more about financial security and stability. And I'm speaking from experience here. This is something that I have been taught for probably seven years now. And I would say that I was getting ready to start step number 5 of 7 on the 7 baby steps to financial freedom myself when the pandemic hit. Now, honestly, I'm resetting all the way back to about number 1 or number 2 because of it. You know, as most of us are. It's okay. But where a lot of times this MidLife-ish is about taking financially wealthy people's methods and putting them to the test. The reason why I chose to really start the series off here is because this is a test that I've already put to it. This is a test that I've already challenged, and I know what works and what doesn't work. And we're going to really dig into these things that Savvy Couple and their 15 Dave Ramsey tips goes into, and the 7 baby steps of financial freedom for Dave Ramsey goes over. And we're really going to pick apart what works, what doesn't work, because I was in a good enough situation pre-COVID to have a family who took the time, a family particularly that I'm married into, that took the time to teach me about financial stability and to teach me about what an emergency fund was. And, you know, the debt snowball is something that I'm very familiar with. So with that being said, follow this series along. Subscribe to this video series. If you find yourself in financial hardship, strain, and struggle, there are things that you can do today, right now, this week when this video series goes live, that you can do to lighten your load and fix things. Some things may sound drastic. Some things may sound absolutely crazy. But I'm going to leave you with this statement on this video. It is crazy. 2020 has been crazy, and it's going to take drastic measures to get ourselves as individuals and as a society back on the right path, back to financial freedom and stability again.